Did it come back on?
Okay, are you ready? Okay, 6:30, call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mike Caddington.
Here.
Sue Doss.
Here.
Jonathan Hohenstein.
Here.
Matt Counts.
Here.
Tim Bull.
Here.
Shane Fagan.
Here.
Bob Wilson.
Here. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call to the board. Any additions or subtractions to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. I'll second.
Motion by Counts, second by Doss. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 11th.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion by Doss, second by Counts. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Just a note, I think Tim seconded that. It was.
Tim, second? Sorry. You usually say bowl afterwards. You didn't say
I'll
bowl.
try. He's changing it up on you, Mike.
Closed session meeting minutes for August 11th. You've seen them.
Move to accept the closed session meeting minutes from August 11th, 2025 as presented.
Support.
Motion by Hohenstein, second by Counts. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose it. It's where lies are hidden.
Special board meeting, August 21st, 2025.
Move to accept the board minutes from August 21st, 2025 as presented.
Support.
Motion by Hohenstein, second by Doss. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oppose.
Motion carries. Call to the public. Seeing none, guess I would entertain a motion to move the closed session up so we can get the attorney off the clock. Anyone is willing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Support.
Motion by Counts, second by Hohenstein. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, is there a motion to enter into closed session?
I'll make the motion to enter into closed session.
Support Bull.
Motion by Doss, seconded by Bull. Sorry. Roll call?
Doss.
Yes.
Caddington.
Yes.
Fagan.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yep.
Hohenstein.
Yes.
Counts.
Yes.
Bull.
Yes.
Be back in 5 minutes, hopefully.
Probably, you know, if the track record holds true. Usually after a for sale sign goes up, I get 2 more years out of it.
Okay. Now, it includes that horse farm thing, right?
Yes.
And then it includes the house on the other side. Does it include where that gravel and that
Yes.
crushing thing is? Is that on his property?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, there's 9 fields there, and every one of them has at least 2 triangles in it. It's not fun to farm, and it's not that good of ground, but they don't pay that much for it either.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Did you know Nielsen?
He did some stuff through our office. All I heard was stories about him. That was all I heard. I know that.
I have one if you want to hear it.
Is it the washing machine one?
No.
Okay, I heard we had a mishap with the washing machine,
No.
but, no, what's it?
Actually, Fred Van Gilmer alerted me that acreage might be available farm. I was looking for acreage. So I got a hold of Nielsen and we agreed to meet out there on a particular Saturday morning. In the meantime, I kind of started doing some homework, and not everybody I talked to requested mention of his voice today, you know. And so we both show up with our pickup trucks and we're walking toward each other, shaking hands, and I said, I hear you're a mean son of a bitch. And he got a spot.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I think
He loved the reputation, I think.
he was all about intimidation.
Intimidation, that was his thing.
And if he was on your side of the line,
He and I were really, really good after that. He was brave, okay, I got that out of the way. And I did use him a few times, as a matter of fact.
but how was he as an attorney?
Great,
Okay.
great. He was smart and could intimidate the opposition. So, yeah, he did me all right. He wasn't cheap, he was $400 an hour, that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, you get what you pay for sometimes.
Sure.
You know, if you're facing prison or someone's going to take back your stuff, you don't mind paying.
Have you got a mission here tonight?
No, just actually, I wouldn't hear what they were saying with the zoning on it now. So, you know, like, they're looking at it. Well, I don't know, like maybe a year or two.
Was there any news today in the Livingston County Press or anything on a data center?
Not that I saw. Brian said you were at the meeting on Friday? Were you at the meeting?
Yeah, and then I'll begin today. Saturday beside my buddy and Jason Wolford did it.
Okay, was Jason there on Friday?
Yes.
Okay. Brian didn't go today, did he?
No, he was there.
Okay, okay. These meetings are going to be in the planning commission on the 23rd. So, I think it's probably after today, it's probably, talking about it.
Well, it's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. And
Big deal.
huge.
In today's meeting, it was said that this firm is prepared to spend between $4 and $5 billion to establish this facility. And then I heard today that every 3 to 5 years, these computers and stuff that come out, they have to replace them, and that's a billion.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big users of electricity, water, and
Ryan says the water and sewer aren't covered, got that covered.
yeah.
The biggie seems to be the electrical part.
That's going to be a good one. And I think Brian is going to be advocate for some drainage things.
property, he'll bring manure and spread it free of charge. But he's just gotta find, and he can only spread it about so deep, and then the runoff gets in the streams and so on. So he's gotta find new ground all the time to spread manure.
Does he ever anybody bring it out to your places? Or
To my brother, yeah. They're right in the same neighborhood, yep.
how many acres do your brother and his son have that they farm?
Excuse me?
How many acres does your brother have?
Well, they farm about the same as I am, about 1,200 acres. If my dad knew what was going on with the old home farm, he'd be doing flip over. They sold one farm and bought a golf course. So they own a golf course now. And it was outside the town of St. Louis, and it was in bad shape. And golfers don't like golf courses that aren't, pristine. So they've dedicated more time in the last couple of years to making that golf course. And hey, they're having leagues there now, and they're making it. Yeah. You a golfer?
No, I'm in disgrace on the golf course. It's bad.
You could beat me, I never won.
No, I would be good if there's just a lot of rules involved. I could do the way I want it. You have one tee box, and you could hit the ball, and you could go to the nearest hole that you would fall.
I see.
Then, I probably, I'm
Hard golfer.
probably,
Well, it's not different than disc golf that they play on that course.
Andy does that.
You absolutely, there's a premium on being able to throw it this straight.
And it doesn't have to be long. That's why, that's why people golf at their ages, if you just hit it straight, it doesn't matter if you're straight or if you're 50 yards, one way or the other, and, with all the hazards and everything.
There was a big disc golf tournament on Metro Park somewhere. Anyway, the top rated left-hand disc golfer in the world came out and was tuning up on our course.
Oh,
And I watched him. He made all the rest of the guys that play there were tuning up. Because he could throw it straight. Where he wanted it to go.
how many,
These guys are in the swamp, they're in the brush, they're crashing around, and boys might be trying to find this disc that ricocheted off a tree or somewhere. I keep having this $1 million idea, but they just poo-poo me. With technology these days, their disc ought to have a little transmitter implanted in it. And then each of them ought to carry this device. These guys, I'm kind of saying, but these guys spend as much time crashing around the bar as they do playing. See, and if somebody bangs one off a tree and goes over in the swamp, they all help find it. But
not like a
wouldn't that be possible with today's technology? Little transmitter implanted in that thing, and handheld device, and the device says it's there. Well,
When people have those things on their keys and everything else they own,
I
because
guess
they lose it.
located on the dogs.
Right.
must have looked at the pictures.
I looked at the pictures, yeah. But,
In my opinion, they were in a snowball chance in hell selling it for $850,000.
yeah.
Anybody that's got that kind of money, they're not going to buy a place that's surrounded by cheapo apartments and low-income housing people, are they? And it's too close to the road. There's
Yeah.
just a lot of reasons that
I mean,
somebody with that kind of money ain't going to buy there. And I think he still has a pretty substantial water and sewer system on it.
Still?
Yeah, they pick up the 20-year deal. So you're signing up for a bunch of RUs. It's just that they had it for sale a year ago for $750,000. Never got anybody to even walk through it. So now it's for sale again for another $100,000. I don't know what they're thinking. He's one of the Douglas clans. You know some of the Douglases?
I think they do. The electrician.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 boys, and they all tend to be in construction and
Yep.
flooring and so on and so forth. Nice folks.
Did you know his dad, I think his dad was Craig Douglas. This is Craig Douglas. He's an electrician out in New
I was almost thinking the one that lives there now is Craig.
I think there's a boy that's named Craig.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Then there's, I think his name's Andy, that lives up on Stanford Road. And his wife is Jennifer, who runs the accounting firm.
Yes. Okay.
That's Andy. I farm that too.
Did you ever know, Kellogg, Dr. Kellogg lives in this?
Yeah.
Did he ever sell his place?
No.
Okay.
I farmed that for, before he even owned it.
Okay. Is the new somebody farming now, or?
Well, supposedly it's listed for some gigantic number.
Yeah.
That's a kind of nice piece of property if you know, the house, Dr. Tom has done huge renovations to it. It was owned by, the guy who owned breweries in Chicago.
Oh,
Hell, that was his name, Hell.
okay.
Yeah, and he sold Kellogg. Kellogg's current wife, which I think is number 2, laid down in the field like a little spray. She was totally, I don't know where she thinks food comes from, she was totally anti-farming. And so, I think Dr. Tom was trying to keep peace, imposed some rules of operation. And I just said, well, fine, I can't comply with them, I'm done here. So I walked away there a couple of years ago.
We probably never farmed then?
I don't know if anybody is now or not. Yep.
Hmm.
So what was this, closed session all about?
I think it's the gas station up that Mug and Bob's one, what,
Yeah, I was just reading, I was looking at the notes to see what, if it was what I thought it
Is
was.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get it eventually, you'll get it. We had a big battle down in Hartwell, it took a long time, but.
He had to fight to get his place in Heartland?
Okay.
Okay.
That was a big one there too, took a long time.
I read the court notes last trial, and the judge just shut. It looks like they were just trying to spitball stuff, or one of us was trying to spitball stuff on the wall and get something to stick, but the judge denied every, I mean, they tried to get to get a say on, denial.
The Detroit Lions apparently got beat yesterday, didn't they?
I know. the ones up next to the house.
I went to Mason on Saturday, and over that way, there are some soybean fields that are quite turned, nobody has run any yet. Well, you know, they keep crowding the envelope on maturities. Years ago, we all planted Group 3, and the reason we did it is because the longer term beans yield more. And then everybody kind of started backing off to Group 2 or 2.1 now. If you get them out of the field quicker, you can get wheat planted earlier and probably have a better wheat crop.
Okay.
But now some guys have dropped down to 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. Those are the ones that are really turning now. But there just doesn't seem to be that much yield penalty for those early green beans. So that's kind of the trend.
Are you gonna do wheat next year?
If we get the beans out of there quick enough, yeah. I'd like to catch that field on fire again.
And we're planting 2 months. So
All right.
so we plant, they're starting to turn. And hoping to get wheat in there too.
I'm hoping I don't burn anything more down. That was the most expensive loaf of bread I ever bought.
That was experiments there. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So John, have you heard anything about Westinger Farm?
Well, I don't know, somebody told me that they had both passed away.
They do. Yeah, Marion died last June and Frank died last October.
And I see activity around there, but I don't know who they are.
They got a squatter in there right now. His name is Smith.
Well,
Smith.
Where's the Solomon really from?
Some boys farm it. Yep, they farm it. And they got it again for next year, from what I understand. That's what Bob told me, so we'll see. But, yeah, Gary Smith is the fellow's name that's in there right now. So, we'll see what happens.
Was he in there before they passed?
No, and he moved in shortly thereafter. And he got Frank to sign over 2 acres still in the house. So, it's looking like it's a, they have a pretty strong case of elder abuse there, because he was there for every night.
I was told that Francis and Mary didn't own it. Did you ever hear that?
No, they didn't, not all of it, they own half. Their sister Barbara owned the other half.
There are siblings around the country, I think one in Topeka, Oklahoma.
No, Kansas. It was Barbara, he only had one sister, there was just the 2 of them. So his sister Barbara is the one that had the other half.
I have no idea.
And her son and daughter are the ones that are supposed to be getting it now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, big mess.
That's cool.
Yeah, big mess.
These guys are cutting into my American Ninja warrior. Another couple of minutes and I'm out of here.
You had a chance, John, to call the Republic. You better make this fast, I guess.
Well,
As an American Ninja Warrior.
I'm just there to keep them honest tonight.
I started this meeting early. I was here before 6:30. I was hoping to talk at the call to the public. I'll have to wait for the next one.
So, you're gonna throw your hat in the ring for this, zoning enforcement officer?
No.
Oh, no.
No, I think, are you that person? That,
Well, he's making good one. Look at the size of it.
I know. I'll move my camper to the backyard right now, sir. You got a 2 5/16 you can fall on it,
I do it on my truck out there.
No, it's, one of the things they're hopefully gonna hire somebody.
So what's your background?
I retired from the sheriff's office here for 25 years.
Okay.
Just about a year ago.
Do you live in the township?
No, I live in Falmouth.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
I live in Van Hospital.
That's all pretty good. That's all pretty good. I was never a firm believer in having kind of like an official as a zoning person, so.
Did you ever get to know, Jeff Smith, previous board member?
I knew Jeff Okay, oh, is he still
Doing
working?
closure, yeah.
Okay.
And I used him 3 or 4 times, and I thought he just did a excellent job.
Yep, he knew that business.
Yeah. And, I did a 1031 exchange on one property, and he.
Did he coordinate it all?
Guided us through that, yeah.
Those are
Well, I had him
tricky.
on the ski field yesterday, shooting skis. He was perfect.
How was he with a gun?
How did he do?
Yeah.
Carefully.
Okay.
50 targets, he hit about 3.
Okay.
But he had fun.
Are you at Powell Golf Club anymore, or do you just?
And I'm a life member there.
You are, okay.
Yep, life member. I think I'm one of about 2 living life members. They're all like,
Okay, is there a motion to enter back into regular session?
I'll make that motion.
Support Bowl.
Motion by Doss, second by Bowl. Discussion? Roll call?
Hagan,
Yes.
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Counts,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yep.
Cottington,
Yes.
Doss.
Yes.
Okay, are there any motions regarding the closed session? I will make a motion to authorize legal counsel to reject Howell Mason LLC's September 4th settlement proposal because the siting of a gas station is prohibited under the Township zoning ordinance, and direct counsel to provide a counteroffer consistent with its recommendations and ensure all settlement proposals involve public participation.
Support.
Motion by Hohenstein, seconded by Doss. Discussion? Roll call?
Wilson,
Yep.
Cottington,
Yes.
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Fagan,
Yes.
Counts,
Yes.
Bull,
Yes.
Doss.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, going back to the regular agenda, unfinished business, Township Hall renovation. So you have the drawings provided by the architect, including option number 3, which, after working and talking with staff, had some modifications made to it, but that's the one that staff prefers. We did find out today that it's estimated between $5,000 and $10,000 cheaper than option 1. I don't know, everything else is in there.
Just to clarify, Jonathan, so the option that's most liked is also least expensive?
The
Or
one
$5,000 to
that-
$10,000 less?
You said most likely?
Most liked.
Most liked, yes. Yes.
Sounds like a win.
Where's option 2 was my question.
So option 2 is what morphed into option 3
Okay.
after there were
Kinda
changes
what I
by
assumed.
staff. Yeah, just some minor things that were updated. Okay.
What are you looking for here from us tonight? Is this just an update?
Well, so in order to move forward, if the board wants full architectural drawings done, which was, I believe, part of the quote that we received, then you would have to pick one and approve it. If you don't see anything you want to approve, then we'd have to go back to them and have stuff redone.
Today there's like a lunchroom or something where people, or like a coffee station and stuff. I don't see any of that here, a kitchenette or anything. Is that gone?
So nope, the kitchen's gonna stay. The only thing that's gonna happen is that a wall between, essentially divides the kitchen in half. There's 2 doors there, so I don't know if that was the intention, to have a wall in there eventually, but the intent is that the one side, which currently stores tables and chairs and things, could potentially become storage. Maybe it's for elections, maybe it's for other stuff for the township in the future. So we wanted to make sure we included that now, looking to the future, if in case there was a need. But the kitchen stays.
Okay.
Yeah, the side that has the refrigerator and the microwave and sink.
That's normally a spot too where people eat lunch. Is that the case anymore or not really?
Rarely. Yep.
I seem to recall a conversation about the security factor. Something along the lines of active shooter situations and rearranging the office so everybody wasn't exposed in that scenario. Is that what the general layout attempt is there, to not expose everybody within the office right at the front door over the counter? And I see there's a counter with fire rated sliding service window. Is that bulletproof glass, if you will, or just fire?
Just fire.
So the intent was to provide some additional safety that isn't currently there, but it was also to provide some office space. Sue had brought up the need for elected officials to have offices. They discuss kind of confidential things. There's times when it's hard to find a spot that everybody can't hear. So the offices and the safety were big considerations in the drawings.
You said offices for elected officials. I assume the advisory roles such as supervisor, clerk, and treasurer, not that the trustees would have an office to
Correct.
utilize.
Correct.
Okay. The counter's in pretty bad shape, Sue. The counter that everything gets prepared on.
It's got its moments.
And you said the kitchen was staying. This still wouldn't enable us to have a emergency plan that would be required when we hit 10,000 residents. Is that right? We would still need to plan for a kitchen at the future recreation center, as we would call it.
Right, this does not address that.
Does not address that. What is our population currently? I know we're a few years away from a census, is that right?
Right, the last one was in 2020. I'd say we're almost 8,000 probably. I think just at the census it was pretty close to 8,000, and it's been a couple of years, so.
I mean, with these major developments that are going on, these housing developments, we could spike in a hurry to that 10,000 number, and then would we be required to come up with something sooner as far as that emergency plan that's going to be needed before Tooley Road development ever happens?
Well, the thing that's pushing the Tooley Road development is the fact that the election agreement with the county is going away. With that being terminated, we need a spot to hold elections. So that's going to be the thing that pushes Tooley Road. And yeah, I don't know when we're going to get there population-wise in terms of needing an emergency plan and thinking through what that means for us. But having that election space is going to be crucial.
I understand. I just, if there's an opportunity to kind of lay the foundation for the emergency plan here, which could be a lot closer than we expect. I don't know if we want to skip over this opportunity now and be in that bind, but there's no, if there's no harm, no foul, if we don't have that plan put together when we hit that 10,000 population threshold, then I say we move forward, but maybe something to consider.
What are you proposing?
So I think it's been said that we need some sort of kitchen features for this emergency situation plan.
I don't know that it's needed. It was part of the things that we considered as part of an additional structure somewhere. If that is the Tooley Road, park building, if that was an addition we were putting on here, It was to think through what it is. If there was an emergency, a tornado goes through, and we needed a spot to make food, or there was a spot that was needed to make food, that we would be able to provide that. I don't know that it's
I
required.
misunderstood. I thought it was a requirement.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm not proposing anything further, Mr. Counts.
Maybe we could rent the American Legion for elections.
I don't think they have enough parking there. And I don't think they'd want us.
Okay, what's your pleasure on this? Just to clarify, Jonathan, and I know you said that the people that work here had a lot of input in what they wanted here.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot. We went over all the plans that came.
And this is what they
before us,
prefer?
And option 3 was what they would prefer.
What's the grand total?
We did get an estimate today. Was it 440 was the estimate they gave us,
Yeah.
which was a lot higher than Schaefer Construction, took our floor plan, and we had talked to them about what we were looking for. I don't know if we talked about offices at that point. Did we, Sue?
Yeah, they were in there.
Was that in there?
Mhm.
I think their number was, the highest it went, I think, was 270 for a renovation for the Township Hall. So 440 is a lot higher than the previous. Again, it was an estimate from Schaefer's.
This isn't changing the building envelope at all.
No.
This is just a renovation.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the long run, you're gonna need the drawings anyhow, no matter who does it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
it's just the next step in the process.
What are the requirements of the emergency preparation plan if being able to cook food for 10,000 people is not one of them? Do we know what they are? Like, are there things that we could incorporate into this plan?
I don't believe so, but Teresa in the office has been talking to Therese from the county emergency management.
Okay.
And the two of them have a lot more knowledge on it than I do.
Okay.
So if you want to pause this until you hear back from either Teresa or Therese, we can make that happen.
No, I just would, if we're gonna invest the money, and yes, I know that there's the whole conversation about the voting thing, but I think there's various different ways to potentially solve that problem, but I'm just wondering if there's things that we could incorporate into this remodel that put us in a better position to fulfill an emergency preparation plan.
Unfortunately, I don't have an answer. But
That's fine.
I understand what you're saying.
I mean, we're not, is the intent to get our approval on this plan now so that we can get, and start moving ahead on a budget tonight? Or is it more like just you want feedback from us?
I mean, it could go either way. If you were comfortable with what you see, and again, I don't know how aggressive that estimate was. If you're comfortable with that, then I would say we need to move forward and get drawings done. If you're not, if you either want to see what is needed for an emergency management plan, or if there's things you see that you want changed, or if there's a dollar amount, say we cannot go over X dollars, then that's something that we need to know so we can work with the architect so that they understand that constraint.
I think the budget would be dependent upon what we have available to do a project like this and what we feel comfortable spending. I do think the buildings has shown some age and hasn't been updated in a while as far as the office space and such, so I certainly understand that. I would also like to see more than one quote, so I probably want to take this from Lindquist and send it out to various different contractors to see what they have to say about it. But I would, if there's an opportunity for us to incorporate some emergency preparedness things in there, maybe we should consider it, whatever that is. But overall, I think the design of Plan 3 it's great.
The number is just an estimate. That's not a
Right.
quote of any way, shape, or form.
Oh, it's not a quote.
No, that's an estimate. So, and I don't remember, have you talked to them? In that agreement we have with them, was that a
invite bid? Is that how they were going to do that?
That's how they were gonna do it.
Okay.
Mm.
So once they had the drawings, then they would go off to the invite bid, and then you nail down all of the final details.
The number wasn't from Schaefer, that was from Lindquist.
The 270 number was an estimate from Schaefer
Right.
based on our staff drawing
Yep,
of what
yep.
we thought we needed, so,
Yep.
yep.
Lindquist said if you do this, it's probably in this area.
Right.
Okay.
Lynn Howard actually went out, because budget is always a concern, so we asked them too, so they went out and talked to some of the people they've been doing business with and showed them the drawing, and again, I don't know how detailed that went.
Sure.
Or how aggressive that number is.
But regardless, we need a set of plans before we can get an official estimate from
Yeah.
multiple companies.
Yeah.
And that's all we're trying to do now is get some plans.
We want to get plans done, but if there's something that you want incorporated or changed, that's something we need to know now before you
The only
spend all the
inform-
money.
The only information we don't have is if something can be incorporated to help with the emergency.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it's a great plan.
And that's
And
mostly,
I think that's a good point. I think if we can't include it, we might as well, but we don't
yeah, I
have
think
that
that's mostly
information.
square footage.
Pardon me?
That's mostly square footage.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't change,
unless you're gonna do additions, but we've already discussed
We
where
were not-
setbacks and our parking and our, everything else doesn't meet, so.
Okay.
So are you comfortable moving forward to get the plans drawn up as long as we check with the emergency management people at the county and make sure we understand if there's an implication, if there is, to not move forward? But if they say, no, there isn't anything you would need to do to your building now, then we would talk to Linda and say, yeah, please move forward. Are you comfortable with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who sets that, prepared a, I don't even wanna say it, that plan, who sets that plan? Is that a county thing that sets that structure, or is it the state?
I think it comes down from the state to the county, and then,
I mean, ultimately, this board will be responsible for setting the townships. But yeah, we will work closely with the county because they're our direct contact. Yep.
okay.
Where's all the server network switches, routers and stuff going?
So I mean, currently we have, some of these things that look like offices are labeled as storage.
Mm-hmm.
We also have in the basement a room that was previously storage
Mm-hmm.
that has some electronic components in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So-
I mean, I would ask that question of Lindhouse, right? Generally keeping that sort of stuff in the basement, you have potential flood issues, but I mean, it's not a significant amount, but I think just, we need a closet somewhere to put incoming routers and switches and a server and whatever else we need from a infrastructure perspective, IT infrastructure perspective. Doesn't have to be big, just needs to be a closet. Something that can be secured.
Okay.
Okay. Do you need a motion to move forward with the plan, or are you comfortable with the consensus?
I mean, I'm fine with a consensus as long as the board is.
Everybody good?
I just think it's kind of silly to put money into a building when you plan on not using it in the near future, but that's just my opinion.
You know, I guess the definition of near future, is it 10 years, is it 20 years, is it 30 years? You don't know. So,
I mean, you can put up a pole barn for 50 grand. So,
okay,
hold an election.
done with that?
Yep.
Howell Mason versus Howell Township, informational.
It's just informational.
Thank you. 1907 Oak Grove sidewalk op quote.
So you do see the spec sheet that we put out and the easement drawing. We only received one quote, and we didn't actually receive any as part of our open bid. This came after we didn't receive any. We reached out to the people that MHOG uses to do their concrete work, so that's who Concrete Construction is. We did send out a few letters to local cement people that we knew of. They're kind of hard to find. There's not a lot of websites for them and that sort of thing. But we got no response. So it seems like it's a high quote to
We
me.
got one
but
quote.
So is
for
that common,
concrete?
Jonathan, that we just can't get?
I-
You say we sent out letters to different companies and
Did.
we didn't get any responses.
Right. I think it speaks to probably how busy they are more than anything.
Right.
And it seems like a high quote, except when you look at like the unit price it's fine, it's good. It's, you know, it's all the other stuff that they're doing, you know, it's the excavation, land restoration. That stuff just really adds up.
Could it be the time of the year possibly?
Hmm.
Is it something they might budget more in the spring? If they're setting up their jobs, I don't know.
A couple I talked to said they're booking about this time next year. So their schedules are just that full,
Are they really?
so.
Yeah.
So this is the section of sidewalk that's gonna connect, the multifamily complex to Kroger area, is that right?
Well,
Not gonna connect.
This is a little different. So Union and Oak Grove owns property there's a house that kind of sits in the middle of their property.
Yep.
So Union of Oak Grove, as part of their site plan, is required to put in sidewalks. So it starts from their entrance and goes towards Kroger. It stops at 1907, which is what we're talking about. And then it picks up again on the other side of 1907. But there's one more parcel in the township, but they're currently not interested in having sidewalk installed on their property. So this would just fill in that gap between Union of Oak Grove property and Union of Oak Grove property.
But there's still an issue in not being able to do a full stretch of sidewalk from point A to point B, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is we still have a property owner that isn't interested in doing that. So unless that changes, or, you know, people have talked about development on that piece, when that happens, then they'd be required to put the sidewalk in, so.
I still think the city-owned land from Unit at Oak Grove over to the shopping center would be a better place for the sidewalk, but, you know, the city owns land between, it's not directly behind Kroger, a few stores down, like where that little alley goes through there, but I mean, there's city-owned land that goes from that shopping center directly to Union at Oak Grove.
City or township?
Hmm?
City or township?
City. That's where I would have put the sidewalk and get people off Oak Grove.
I guess my point is I'm reluctant to have the township spend $36,000 on a sidewalk that essentially leads to nowhere.
Right.
It sends you walking across somebody else's property.
And trespassing.
So that's my opinion of it.
Maybe we should wait till spring.
So
when
Jonathan,
people are caught up.
I know this easement was granted. Is there any type of time limits on the easement? It's ours in perpetuity now, right?
Right,
So we don't need to do anything today,
right.
or this fall, or in the spring. No.
Hey, you can wait.
Well, it's not gonna connect. Why don't we wait till people get caught up, get a little bit more time to get some bids, because that's an astronomical number, man.
Mhm.
That's like 3 times what I thought it was gonna be.
Okay, so sounds like it's consensus to wait.
I'd like to see some more bids.
So
You volunteering?
No,
Yeah.
Would you like us to put it back out for bid in the spring?
I think we can probably try it again then and see where it goes.
Okay.
We have the easement, and it has been brought out that it's not gonna complete the project anyway. It's just gonna make it closer to being there.
Okay.
So I guess my question though is, do you want to put it out in the spring, or do you want to, as Mr. Wilson pointed out, do you want to wait until something else is going on, whether the other property owner is interested, or whether that property sells as a development to do something else?
Well, we can always put it out to bid. We don't have to accept a bid.
Right.
Okay.
Could we look into maybe putting it through the city property that connects Union at Oak Grove to the back of the shopping center?
So that would have been required as part of the site plan, and the city would have had to have approved
I know, I mean,
it.
can't we go back the way, I'd rather people, if this sidewalk is just for Union up at Oak Grove, I know there's not very many people up Oak Grove that's gonna walk down, you know, the side of the road to get to the sidewalk. So it's mostly for Union at Oak Grove. And when they can go right from the building that they have directly to the shopping center, it seems like it's a hell of a lot more safe. If you can't finish the sidewalk, you're creating an unsafe situation.
The site plan that they were required to, meet was our site plan, right? Or per Howell
Our site
Township.
plan requirements, yes.
So per our requirements, we're saying the sidewalk has to go in, but no hurry.
So Union of Oak Grove was required to put the sidewalk in. That's why
Okay,
there's,
okay, that's why
that
section, excuse
sidewalk
me.
exists, yep.
You know which piece of property I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but it wasn't required as part of the site plan. Union of Oak Grove didn't propose it. The city we've had to approach the city to see if they would accept it. You can't just dump people into the city property, right? This is all in a right of way.
Right.
So where it is now is where it has been traditionally everywhere. And yes, right now it only benefits Union of Oak Grove, or mostly benefits them. But we also, I don't know if you're on the board yet, we had a lot of people talking to us that they wanted sidewalk all the way up Oak Grove for miles. And we got an estimate of what that would cost, and it was astronomical. You want to talk about big numbers. It was really big numbers, especially for, I can only imagine how many people would use that on a regular basis.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you go to Amber Oaks, it's kind of
That was-
senseless, really.
that was the point. That was the group who wanted it.
Yep.
Amber Oaks.
Right.
Yep.
And one or two property owners in between is gonna bring the whole thing to a stop, right?
Well, it would be difficult. It would
That's
take a
easements,
long
right?
time.
That's
Easements, everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Including easements.
I mean, I just look at, like, I think, I understand the perspective of wanting to build out the sidewalk to meet the needs of the residents and such that are there. Unfortunately, I don't know how we would propose, like, I don't know how we would go put a sidewalk on city property now. I think if, looking at this, I don't like the fact that we got one bid back. And I think the prices are really, really high for, what is there. I mean, it just seems like a lot. It seems like basically the bid is basically saying, we don't wanna do this.
That happens.
Well, everybody's busy right now. They're getting primo dollars for concrete.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Okay, so move on to combined sewer and water ordinance.
So the township's been working on this for a while. We were making some changes, making some updates to the sewer and water ordinances, and, you know, instead of like, making a whole bunch of changes to both, we combined them and worked to try to bring it up to date. Some of the stuff that had been in there previously was kind of outdated, really wasn't how we were doing things. So we worked closely with MHOG to make sure that, you know, we had everything in there that, you know, they would have concerns with and how they operate. So this is what came out of that effort.
Okay, questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a few.
Yes.
So this is like 39 pages of, and this, we first saw this on Thursday.
I know it's a lot. Yeah.
So, and I understand that, you know, generally a lot of ordinances go through the planning commission. This is not one of the ones that are required to because it's not a land use, I'm assuming.
So it's a general ordinance, not a zoning ordinance. Yep, so the board has authority over it, doesn't start, we have to go through the planning commission.
Okay. So on page 1, under definitions, and maybe these are just simple explanations because I read the 39 pages. A and B, there's the difference in the footage, but everything else is the same. Is there a reason for that?
The reason is that during the downturn, people didn't want to connect if they didn't have to. So the 200-foot rule is, according to our attorney's law, I don't know if it's written in law, but it's considered available if it's within 200 feet. People would build on their property just outside that, so they didn't have to hook into the sewer and water and pay all those fees. So the township was concerned with that because we went to great expense. We were going under because of sewer and water debt. And we needed people, if they were gonna build, to hook up, especially if you're in a sewer and water district. So we extended that to, if your house existed with the time we made the rule, then it's the 200 feet. If you were gonna build after that, then it was gonna be 400 feet.
So if somebody were to buy 5 acres and it was in a sewer district, and they were 399 feet from the sewer, they would be mandated to hook into it?
If the house was still, it was in that 399 feet, yes.
Yes. And it's a brand-new house?
Yes.
So
I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm not sure I would agree with that today.
Regardless of the acreage that that house sits on,
Yes.
right? It's within.
So that was one of my concerns, and it moves to page 11.
I mean, I know why I remember that.
When it came up,
Yeah.
I understand it, I just
But
don't
I
know
think
if
we're in a
we're there
different position.
now.
Yeah.
The mandatory hookups for both the water and the sewer, which I think are on page 11 and 14.
I believe those requirements exist in state law, to my knowledge. The township has never pulled the trigger. We could have always, anytime that system goes in, we could provide notice and make people hook up within 90 days. That exists. in
That's what
law.
it says.
Yeah. The township has never done that.
Never done
And
that.
so it's always been,
That's nice to know.
well, and it's honestly, it's a really nice thing that the township does, because it's actually a kind of a nightmare of record keeping. It'd be much easier from the township side to say, just hook up, you've got 90 days. But we understand that's a lot of money. Right? So we've allowed people to, when your septic fails, if you're in that sewer district, well, okay, now, as opposed to replacing your field, now it's time to hook up.
So I don't know what it costs to replace a septic, and I guess it's all different, right? But we have a general idea what it costs to hook into the sewer. And if it is state law, then it's not a township requirement, it's a state requirement. Or if it's a county requirement, I could understand it. But I would like to, at least the residents have the option, if it would pass county inspection for an on-site sewage field and not mandated to be hooked into. But they should at least have the choice. And I don't think our ordinance gives them that choice, the way it reads.
I would agree.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, the sewer and water is run at great expense.
Yeah,
And so-
absolutely.
And so allowing people to continue to put in, if your well fails, and just to put in a new well when there's water at the street, that's why.
But we're forcing them to hook into it there's a $5,000 connection, 40-something,
It's 5,000.
5,000 connection fee,
Yeah.
and then there's a monthly charge.
Then there's the usage fees, yep.
So I don't know what it costs to put a well in. I mean, it would vary on the property, I just
10
think.
grand.
You might know.
Just did it.
So maybe, but I just feel that maybe when the sewer system first went in, I know there was some debate about the mandatory hookups. I don't know if we're quite there as a township now, because this is how many years later?
What does the health department say on mandatory hookups?
That's a good question. They always call us to find out if they're in a sewer and water district or not,
Yeah.
so.
I think their preference is to have it hooked to a system, not into a drain field.
Yeah,
Just for obvious reasons, because
well, I guess my point is like, I think from I would wonder what the health department rules and regulations are, because I agree with Tim. I think if a person chooses to pay to put a septic system in and they meet all the requirements, why are we saying no? If there's a state law, I understand that. I think we did a lot of work to try to address the debt, and I think we've covered that. And I think if you're in a subdivision, I get it, that makes sense, and there's probably some rules and regulations that the health department has around subdivisions. I think if there's certain parcels of property, certain size, and so on and so forth, okay. But if you have acreage, or but your home is, a certain distance from the road and it's outside the state limits, like, I don't see why we would make them hook up.
I would think looking at the sewer map, you're not gonna find that many large parcels
That are within the
left
sewer
within the
district.
sewer and water. I mean, they basically got put in where there was need. And they had destinations, obviously, but
Well, the sewer and water continue to fill in the gaps that it's not now. So for instance, I assume the sewer and water is at Burkhart Road, but doesn't go east down Mason Road to
correct.
towards the city, right? So
Right.
is there gonna be a push at some point to do that would be the question without, without the residents begging for it, so to speak, because there is all those parcels down Mason Road with large acreage
Mhm.
that it looks like there will be a day where there'll be water and sewer there because it's, it's on both sides. It's in town, it's at Burkhart Road, so.
Yeah.
I think it might change too. The state has been trying to pass a septic code. We're one of the rare states that doesn't. And there are counties that have required when you sell a home, there has to be this inspection. And there's even more rules proposed of you have to have regular inspections of your septic system to make sure, because they're a huge source of contamination, especially people who don't maintain them. So if you do go that route, if the state goes that route, people may want to hook up to sewer instead, because it's a lot easier than having to pay somebody to come regularly check your septic system and get it to pass, because that gets sent to the county, and if it doesn't, then you gotta fix stuff. So it might change at that point as well.
Perhaps.
And I agree with that. I just think the residents should have a choice. And I don't think we're giving them that choice. So.
Okay.
I would be interested, I agree with you. I would be interested to see what's coming down from the state, like what does that look like? And what does the health department say? Are you looking for approval on this tonight?
It doesn't have to be. This isn't life or death stuff right now. I mean, it's fine as it is. And I can go back and either get some information or maybe rework some stuff to provide choice if that's an option. But it may be information from either our attorney or Greg will give you the information in terms of here's why it's there.
Sure, and
right?
that was the only question I
Right.
had, because there may be very, very legal reason why it is that
Right.
way. Right?
Yeah.
But that's my question. I mean, if we only got it on Thursday and it's 39 pages, and I just felt that it should be looked at.
Yeah.
Since it's not going to the planning commission where it normally gets vetted there and then gets recommended up to this level. So that was the one issue, was the mandatory hookups. And then on page 19, because this came up when I was speaking with a business owner too, the last paragraph, it says review following increase in demand. And it says whenever a user increases their demand, like their RU maybe, because they're expanding or something like that, which is understandable, but they have to pay another connection fee.
So let's just talk about, because this happened with Wranglers recently. Remember, we approved their REU reduction. They said,
Yep.
the book says they needed, let's just use easy numbers, it was 30, and they did a review and said, hey, based on this information, we think we only need 20.
Sure.
So we granted them the 20 instead of the 30, but if we find out later through either a sewer study, because we have done those in the past, where our engineer went around and looked at all the numbers. They were actually going into businesses to make sure there wasn't like open drains that they're dumping stuff down, because there's concerns with some of the places store chemicals, right? They want to make sure chemicals aren't getting into our sewer system. As part of that, we get information that we find out that Wranglers is actually using 30. Well, now they need to pay the difference, because the reason they want the reduction is the cost. They have to pay the benefit cost, and then they have to pay the connection fees. So if it turns out they were using 30, not 20, then yes, we would send them a letter that shows them what is going on, why it is what it is, but then they would need to pay the additional benefit charges and the additional connection fees as if they had paid for 30 to begin with.
So the connection fee
Everything's based on the REU. So
It's
if they
based on
use-
the,
they
so it's
use-
not actually another hookup fee.
So it's a little confusing. The benefit charge pays for the lines that are already in the ground, right? So
Sure.
you're benefiting from that. The connection fee actually pays for your slice of the treatment plant. So if you're using more, that's why you have to pay for the additional.
So the connection fee isn't
Isn't the physical connection
isn't the
to
physical
pipe, which is
connection
what
fee,
people
right?
think, 'cause it's called
a
that.
different word, okay.
Right,
All right, that's just a clarification that,
yeah.
I was like, well, you're already hooked up, why are you paying it again? But if
Right.
you're having an increase in usage, that's why.
Pays for the plants.
Yes. Okay. Those were most of my concerns that I had with it.
Okay, anything else of concern if we're gonna take this and bring it back next month?
No, my biggest concern was the mandatory hookup on large parcels of land,
Definition of large parcel.
10 acres or more.
Okay.
Are you only concerned about large parcels or just in general, like Tim had brought up?
In general, as far as it being mandatory for anybody, I would say there's gotta be a threshold when somebody's on just a couple acres and they have a drain field and that fails, then it's probably time to tap in, right? Or to be on the system. That would be my thought, that there needs to be a threshold there for.
Wouldn't it be contingent upon the county health department? They would have to approve it.
They'd have to approve to,
They would have to approve any septic, so if
Okay.
it didn't
Okay,
meet
if it
some
didn't meet the
requirement that they would
standard,
have,
then
yeah, I would
sorry,
imagine that
yes.
it wouldn't be allowed, so. I don't know if parcel size is
I don't-
relevant.
I didn't see a need to somehow pick some
you-
lot size
I
that
think,
says, okay.
I think
now
we're getting in
it's-
the weeds with that.
Right. Yep.
So if the county approves it or it meets the requirements, I don't know if we need to get into lot size,
Okay.
so.
all right. Anything else on that? Zoning enforcement officer. We've got, the human resources recommendation, had 3 candidates, only 2 resumes. One person did not submit a resume. So, our recommendation was Tom Boyer. I think you've all seen the resumes, so I don't know if you guys have anything to add. I don't know if anybody has any questions of Tom. He's here tonight.
Is Tom our only candidate here tonight?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I'd like to ask Tom some questions. Tom?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Tom. I'm Shane.
Great to be here.
You are a retired Livingston County Deputy Sheriff, as I understand.
Yes.
Have you never served in a zoning enforcement role other than through that, through the local sheriff's office?
Correct.
Would you be carrying a firearm for zoning enforcement?
That will depend on your policies on that.
Okay. If you were asked to testify in court and there was some evidence that maybe could stipulate or change the direction of a court decision, would you give full detail of that evidence, or would you manipulate it and let's say would you lie in court?
No.
No, you wouldn't? Then you got my vote, sir.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Mr. Connington.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have one.
All right.
Mr. Boyer, you CPL holder.
Yes.
Have you arrested people in this county?
Yes.
Do you have enemies in this county?
I don't know that I would call them enemies.
That's basically it. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Is there any motions or?
What-
There's a resolution.
Yeah, do we have, what's the next resolution number?
557.
557. I would move to accept resolution 09.25.557 to appoint Tom Boyer as the ordinance enforcement officer as presented.
Support.
Motion by Holstein, seconded by Doss. Discussion? Roll call?
Hohenstein,
Yes.
Coddington.
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Counts,
Yes.
Fagan,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yep.
Bull,
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Call to the public. Go ahead, John. Bill was moving back there, that's why I was confused, so.
John Mills, 1750 Oak Grove Road. You might want to take a minute and look at the sidewalk that's immediately east of Kroger. Number one, it's impassable because some locust trees in there have completely grown over it. It's impassable. And number two, don't hire whoever put that sidewalk in because somebody ought to sue the city of Howell because those pieces of sidewalk are so heaved, it's difficult to even walk over there without stubbing your toe. So that's an example of what not to do. Number two, I put in the mailbox this morning $15,000 to pay my property taxes, and I sure hope a bunch of that goes to the renovation of this township hall. At least maybe there'd be a 2x4 in there with my name on it. Number three, I'll bet you've all seen, primarily in the city of Howell, e-bikes going down the sidewalks about 25 miles an hour. That issue probably isn't going to come to rest here, but it's going to come to rest somewhere because one of these e-bike guys is going to crash into a pedestrian and hurt him real bad. You might find it interesting that I have a farm landlord whose residence is San Diego, California. He also has a place here in Howell. He's visiting right now, and we talked about e-bikes, and he said the way San Diego, California dealt with it is, he said they flat outlawed them. You just can't use them in San Diego. Food for thought. And my last question to our new zoning enforcement officer is, what do you see your relationship with this board? Are they going to approve what you're going to go enforce, or are they going to be directing you to go enforce something? What's the relationship there? What's the relationship, Matthew?
Yeah,
Is this
call
a-
to the
is this
public,
call to
John.
public, or is this something you want me to answer?
We don't want to set a precedent.
Well, I think he ought to act at your direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You mean the entire board?
Mr. Graham?
Bill Graham, 4540 Oak Grove Road. I'll just go on down what I wrote here. I know that everybody here wants to know how Jean's doing. I know that for sure. She's doing great. We just had 2 grandsons born within the last month. Our 2 sons welcome boys into our family, which is great. She'll have lots of babysitting to do here in the near future. She helped run the last 2 elections at Marion Township to rave reviews from Clerk Tammy Beal. But what puts the biggest smile on her face are the over 24 times that we have been approached by township residents at Culver's, Myers, Gus's, Speedway, and the last one, which was pretty funny, at Detroit Metro Airport in the baggage claim. Gail came up and said, "You're Gene Graham. You used to wait on me at the counter at Howell Township. I'm so glad you got away from that place. That office is so screwed up." And this has happened with all the over 24 people that have come up to us, almost in verbatim, of how glad they are that she got out of here. So I just want to put in there too, that the old saying, you reap what you sow, fits this office almost perfectly. and I have 3 issues to put before the board. First one is Oak Grove Road. While I was growing up on Oak Grove Road, which I was born and raised on, they maintained the road by coating it with tar and then come right on behind with that with finely crushed stone. That fills in the cracks and it keeps the road in good shape. And that has not happened for the last almost 20 years on Oak Grove, on our section of it. To the north, from Allen Road North, Cohocton Township did it again last year, and they've been doing it about every 4 or 5 years. And it keeps the road in good shape. And we've got cracks in front of our place that are at least that wide, have not been filled in with anything, and they go down that deep. And they broaden out as they're down underneath because of the rain getting in, freezing and thawing, and causing the road to have to be patched, which it has been quite a bit. Not up in Cohocton Township, but here in Howell Township it does. And I believe that's a big part of the township directing the county to do that, or not. I'm not sure. But if Cohocton Township's still doing it, I'm assuming it is a township thing. So I don't understand why we don't maintain it. That's the same blacktop that was put down when they put it in back when I was a baby. And it hasn't been resurfaced. It was maintained by tar and stones. And it gives you better traction in the winter too. And it just, I don't understand why we don't maintain it like we should. So that's a big problem I have. Another one is a new thing. There was a pole barn built at 3300 Oak Grove Road. It was built within the last year. That barn is a business. There's a business operating out of it. And I know you have issues with Mr. Fagan having a business in his garage. Well, here we've got a huge pole barn, which I shouldn't say it's huge, but it's rather large for the size of the parcel. It's rather large for the size of the house that's there. And when I was going to work, and it's happened before, but when I was going to work last Thursday, here's a semi backing in there. It's an insulation business, so they have semis that come in and fill the barn up. I was sitting with over 20 cars waiting for him to get backed into that pole barn so he could unload. You know, there's over 20 cars heading south. On the other side, vehicles going north, there was about 11 or 12, I counted, and there were 2 buses that were stuck in that. And that's at 7:30 in the morning. They're going out to get kids, and here we've got a semi backing into a residential neighborhood to supply a business that he's running out of that pole barn. And then the other one is 3110 Oak Grove Road. It's a modular home that just got set there by a crane, 2 sections on a basement. A very small house. To look at it, it looks like it's probably about 800 square feet. It does have a full basement. But what really bothers me is the garage they set there. It's just a metal frame that they set on cement. It has a cement floor, but it's so close to the back of the house. They have 2 large garage doors. The one that's to the north, there's no way you could ever get a car into it because it's so close to the house. That had to have come before you folks as a site plan, I would sure think. And I would have thought there had been questions asked and at least, figured out what's, why it's configured the way it is. But I know darn well, being on the Board of Review, there's a real good chance we'll be seeing the neighbors, because of that house. It's going to drive their values down. It's up ahead of their houses, so it's very noticeable, and you've got this weird garage behind it that they popped up within a few hours, and there you are. So that really bothers me, those 2. And I will keep on here. I think that was everything. And I just want to bring up the name of Mary Baring. Mary Baring was a manager here at Howell Township in the early 2000s. She was probably here in the 90s too. I went down a little bit, but she was a person that was paid too much. She ran the office with a my way or the highway attitude. Having that attitude and pushing her agenda cost the township a lot of money in attorney's fees. With the 2006-2008 downturn, in the economy, Mary's my way or the highway attitude was going to bankrupt Howell Township, and it darn near did. We almost went into receivership. Mike Coddington led the charge in getting rid of Mary when he worked for me at First National Bank. That was one topic that he brought up many, many times. He did succeed in getting the votes to ouster Mary, and And this kept Howell Township from going into receivership. With also the hard work of Brent, the assessor. Excuse me. The sorry thing about this story is the fact that Mike has created a second Mary Baring in the form of Jonathan Hohenstein. Being paid too much power in the office, and the same my way or the highway attitude, which has cost the taxpayers of this township way too much money in attorney's fees and lawsuits. Excuse me. The bottom line is, in my opinion, the double dipping needs to stop. Our elected officials need to spend at least 10 hours a week in the office doing their jobs to collect their salaries. This would help staff, and Mike could see what is actually going on here in the office, opposed to being told what's going on in the office by Jonathan. I don't believe that our zoning administrators should have a vote on our board. I feel that it is, in a lot of cases, a conflict of interest. I feel that Jonathan needs to decide to be zoning administrator or treasurer. And to the board, and there's 2 members on this board that could do this every meeting. To keep this issue front and center, the board needs to make a motion for Jonathan to pick or choose either or, zoning administrator or treasurer. The board also needs to make a motion for at least 10 hours a week for work for our elected officials to collect their salaries. With Mike here 10 hours extra, that would help staff. And with 10 hours per week for Jonathan, he wouldn't be able to charge us 40 hours per week as zoning administrator because he would be spending 10 hours a week doing his treasurer's job. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Anybody else for call to the public? Seeing none, go into reports. Supervisor reports.
Mr. Supervisor, before you get into that, I would like to entertain a motion to remove Jonathan Hohenstein as zoning administrator.
I'd like to second it.
Okay, we're gonna put that after call to the public. So you wanna read that out again, please?
Yes, I make a motion to remove Jonathan Hohenstein from the zoning administration position.
Okay, now supported by Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Discussion?
On what basis?
On what basis? So, without getting too personal, I have witnessed a double standard in many cases with our zoning administrator. A blatant disregard for constant complaints of a construction business, which was responded with, the township sees no evidence. There's been thousands of photos, and I certainly think this has gone on long enough. There has been many situations that could have been settled and cost the township less money. And for the point of Bill Graham, it's costing us money. If he was doing such a good job, we wouldn't have hired Mr. Tom Boyer there.
Okay, any other discussion?
John Hohenstein's decision to not act on this ended up getting Mr. Ryan Cott over to my house trying to tear the front door off my house, threatening me. Now he has a trespassing charge on him because Hohenstein isn't doing his job. He's not treating people fairly. The tractor's still over there at his house. It was parked out in the street as a hazard on Sunday. You got pictures of it. You're not doing a good job, John, in my opinion. You're not treating people fair. But, you know, you're going to buy yourself bulletproof glass up here. You're starting a bunch of crap. Are you going to buy me bulletproof glass for my house because of the crap you start?
First and foremost, there is no bulletproof glass planned anywhere in that plan.
There was talk of it.
So, secondly, this is to remove him as the zoning administrator, right?
That's correct.
Everything you just mentioned is code enforcement. We just removed him from being code enforcement. We have a replacement. That's what you wanted. That's what we did. Correct?
He's not doing a good job at either. He lied in court.
All those examples you just gave were code enforcement issues, correct?
He's not doing his job, whether it's this
Okay.
job, that job, that job, altogether, he's not doing his job
Okay,
fairly.
I just
in
want
my
clarification if your examples were
opinion.
code
Would you be
enforcement.
pissed if someone come to your house beating, trying to tear your door off in front of your house? He caused it.
I have another point I would like to make on the position of the zoning administrator specifically and not code enforcement. And that is, on many occasions, our zoning administrator has sat amongst this board and taken votes that are oversight of that zoning administration position, of that code enforcement position. Although it may be allowed by the legislature for Mr. Hohenstein to serve those multiple positions, I do not believe it's in the best interest of this township for him to continue to do so.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair?
We're in call to the public, Bill. Bill?
I've got to get this on the record. I am not filing an official complaint against 3300 Oak Grove or 3310 Oak Grove.
So you don't want anything done?
I
Okay.
am not filing official complaint. I just want you to know what is going on.
Has to be in writing anyhow.
What is going on. So
Yep.
I just want that out there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Fagan, do you have any specific complaints on the zoning administration portion of Mr. Hohenstein's job? Because as you found out, as we spend more time here, there's a lot of detail to that, right? And there's a lot of institutional knowledge or knowledge that you need for that. We have discussed the code enforcement violations. I think we've taken a step by hiring Mr. Boyer to see what happens at that point. I think he's gonna be an intermediary. I think he's gonna be fair. I think he's done that his whole career. So I think he's gonna be well-suited for that job.
But the problem is, when he went to court, he lied on the stand.
This has nothing to do with the past, it has to do
He
with now.
represented himself as the zoning administrator in court, not the code enforcement officer.
So what would be your replacement? I mean, you say remove him, but what's the answer to that? Because who's gonna replace
To post
him?
the job as it should have been done.
That wasn't your
when-
motion. So, but it,
Let's get him out of the way and post the job.
and you mentioned yourself, is it illegal for our treasurer to serve as zoning administrator at the same time? By law? Is it illegal?
In the actions he takes, yes, it can be.
And what were those actions?
Subordinate versus, so he oversees himself. He oversees himself, his.
So the zoning
his
administrator.
wages as zoning administrator, he oversees as a board member, he deliberates on those. Furthermore, he goes into HR meetings that deliberates and establishes recommendations for the board. So as a HR committee member, he then goes to the board to further concrete in any decisions or any discussions made in the HR committee, takes a vote amongst the board now, and then any oversight the board should have over the zoning administrator now gets to take a vote in.
So I can understand some of your concerns. I really do, right? And these were some of my concerns when Jonathan was first appointed back a year and a half ago, even before I was a trustee. So I have been diligent in looking for these cross-contaminations that you're talking for. That's why I'm asking for specifics. Beyond the code enforcement, I'm asking for specifics where he has overstepped the line. Because as zoning administrator, he sits here with the planning commission. And I wonder if that's not some type of.
So let's just, because
But I have not found it, but I haven't found an example of that. So I was wondering if you have an example of that.
So when Howell Township versus Fagan came about, and both you and Mr. Hohenstein were witnesses in that case, and then you brought it before this board and voted to appeal that case, that would be one conflict.
So, no,
No, all right, well,
no.
I have no more discussion. I think
I'm just
I've made
asking
my
for
point.
specifics for what you're saying. I mean, because you make you make the motion, and I'm asking for specifics as a zoning administrator. Code enforcement, that's something different. We've talked about this. I think we're moving forward from that. I'm willing to see how that pans out at this point. I think it's well needed. It's something we've needed from the beginning.
How much?
The biggest complaints that we've had is code enforcement, right?
So he must be doing the rest of his job perfect.
Well, we're all victims of our experience in life, but to me, the biggest complainers are usually the ones that don't want to follow the rules. So it's a thankless job. We all know that. So that's why I'm asking for specifics with zoning, because there's a lot with zoning administrators. There's all the site plan reviews. There's things like that. There's a lot going on in the township right now. We need someone that does a good job at that.
They're stopping someone's build when they show up to court to support somebody too, right? There's putting up.
Are you making that allegation? Because I don't have personal knowledge of that.
There's a potential there, right?
I don't have the personal knowledge of that, because it should be in black and white then, right? I think if we all follow the zoning ordinances by black and white, there's a lot less room for interpretation.
Well, he's clearly not operating fair, but is this new guy gonna work for you? Or Mike? Who's he gonna work for? Who's gonna give him direction?
So in general, I am not participating in this discussion, because it sounds like you really don't want me to, so I won't. But I will answer your question, which is that the ordinance says that person reports to the manager or the zoning administrator.
So he's gonna work for you, so you're gonna direct him on your interpretations of the ordinance, because my interpretation of the ordinance, and even the judge in the court system, agrees that Mr. Fagan was allowed to have his little business in his garage.
That is not true.
That's not true. Can we move forward, please?
That's
No.
not
Let's
true.
have a
I was there and
conversation
heard the
of-
judge say
We're
it.
picking on your buddy, and I know you don't like it.
Let's have a conversation for the subject that's on the table right now.
We are.
We're not. You're bringing
No,
up,
because you
you're bringing
can't
up
read the
historical
ordinance either.
things. I've
You're
read
the one that
all
says
of
Fagan
them.
was in violation. The judge she don't agree with you.
Actually, that's not true.
It is
Reread the
true.
legal opinion. Do you have anything else?
I was just asking for.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yep.
I've sat on the planning commission for a very long time prior to Trustee Bowl. I understand that there's a lot that a zoning administrator does behind the scenes. I think the issues that have been brought up as concerns are related to a code enforcement officer and how those things are presented. That is a thankless job. Thank you, Mr. Boyle, for deciding to apply for that job. But that is a thankless job. You are a former police officer. You know that already. I have not seen examples where, as a zoning administrator, there's been failure to meet the job description.
I think Aaron Curry would disagree with that.
Aaron Curry isn't here, and Aaron Curry hasn't presented reasons why. We've heard a lot of conjecture. We've heard a lot of, this is my opinion. We haven't heard a lot of fact related to how he operates as a zoning administrator.
Well, we also got a video of you proving you are a liar, so.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call.
Cottington,
No.
Doss,
No.
Hohenstein,
I'm going to abstain.
Wilson,
Yep.
Counts,
No.
Bull,
No.
Fagan.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we'll move on to reports. Supervisor, there's nothing outside the ordinary of what we haven't already covered?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, for
Yep.
allowing me to make a motion.
Yep. Treasurer?
We did have an issue with the septic tank here at the Howell Township Hall. We had Howell Sanitary look into it. It turned out it was a broken wire, so we had that wire replaced, and septic system is working again.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Clerk?
I have the agreement between Howell City and Cohocton that we want to enter into for the early voting again, so we need your approval. There was some changes. We are not buying equipment here at the township. We will be splitting that cost 3 ways. It's more like we'll pay rent to the city for using the machines.
Does the city own it?
They're gonna pay for them upfront, and then we'll pay a percentage back to them.
So they own it?
Yep. Well, it doesn't matter, because early voting, they're custodial of the machines anyhow. You can only use that machine for that election.
My concern is really more around the machine, the asset itself, and the rental fees.
Is for what?
The rental fees and the asset itself.
So
If they own the machine, will they come to us and say, you owe us 33% of that cost?
It'll be
Or-
broke out by between the years that we're using the machine.
Correct. So one year they could come to us and say, the fee is $100, and next year they could come to us and say the fee is $200?
No, it would be less.
But my point of the dollar amount is not material. My point is they have the ability to come in. We enter this agreement. Is there any, I didn't see clauses in the agreement that said the fees that we paid are a set amount that won't increase at the discretion of the city of Howell.
Well, I guess because we had all agreed it would be split equal throughout the elections. And then if a new clerk comes in and they don't want to be part of the joint, then they're not out anything, or
But does that include the cost of the machine itself? That's what I was trying to
that
understand.
is the cost. It would only be the cost of the machine. And then we all split evenly the supplies as normal.
Does it
There
make sense
is-
what I'm asking for, or no?
I think
Like,
I'm not,
paragraph 10 offers a way to do it. That was one of my questions, which is it provides 3 different options, 10.11, 10.12, and 10.13. Was there a consensus as to which one you were gonna go with?
more than likely 10-1-2,
10.12?
that we share it cost evenly. And that's what we did in the past.
Are you comfortable with that as language, Matt? If the costs are shared equally among the participating municipalities? Your concern is that
Yeah.
it's not set.
Yeah,
It could be
do we have
unreasonable.
I understand that it says share the cost equally. Does that constitute a rental agreement, right? If we're renting that machine from them? And if not.
We're not, we're all using it. It's only one machine and we're all using it. It's.
Yeah, but
Is it
Am I
even a
making-
purchase of a new
Who's
machine? or
buying
No,
it?
no.
So you're not even buying a
You're
new
not
machine?
buying
They're
We're not
using one of their
buying-
existing
no.
machines.
Okay, all right.
It's sharing the cost of,
Because once that machine puts in place for early voting, nobody can use that tabulator. It's only there for you, early voting. Once early voting's done, it goes into lockup and we can't even count it till the end of election night.
Yeah, I understand that. We're not buying a new machine for this.
No, and so in the long run, when it comes time to buy new machines, because the state is talking about new machines, we don't purchase one for early voting anymore.
But we'll purchase a third. We'll share the cost.
We'll share the cost.
Yes.
okay, clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question about the term of the agreement. I didn't see a term in here. I know the last,
It has to be redone every year,
every year?
every year.
Okay. 'Cause paragraph 18 says that you could provide otherwise. I didn't see that in there.
Yeah, it just says municipalities must agree how long the agreement will stay in effect.
It's, every year we have to redo it by state. And then if we choose to back out of the agreement, we can.
So this agreement is for all of the elections in 2026?
Early voting, yeah, just the early voting ones.
But all of 26, not just the
Right.
primary or something like that?
No.
This goes all through all the
Oh,
elections that you will
right.
have in 26?
Yep.
Okay.
Do we need that stated somewhere? Or is that inherent?
I mean, I would prefer if it was in here, just because the paragraph, like I pointed out to 18, says may provide that the agreement has no fixed termination date.
Yeah.
So to me, I would prefer if it was in there.
I
I'd
think
prefer if
we-
it called it out to
Yeah,
say it's
we
good
need
for
to
this
say
window.
it renews every year, or right, something like that.
The next, if we approve this and that's good through 26, the next one we see, I would say, okay, I'll approve this through 28.
Yeah, we could do it for more than 1 year if we wanted, right?
Is it per year or is it per election? Did you mean per
We have
election?
to do it per year. So this one, because we didn't do one for this year, because we didn't have a joint election.
Okay.
So next year, this is what the one is for, 2026. At the end of 2026, we won't have to do one. We don't have an election usually where we have to do early voting.
So if all three of you had an election in 27 and you were gonna do this again, if there was some school election or something?
Nope, you don't have to do early voting for school elections, just
Okay.
federal and state elections.
But you can, and if you chose to, you would have to get a new agreement, because this one wouldn't be in place.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I would be comfortable if we made a motion personally, just for the term of the agreement, that it's good through the elections of 2026, because then at least we've set how comfortable we are this extending, even though
That's fine.
it's not in the
Yeah.
agreement.
That's fine.
Okay, is there a motion?
I will move to accept the agreement for election services between Howell City, Howell Township, and Cohocton Township in Livingston County, with a term of the agreement through the elections of 2026 as presented.
Support.
Motion by Holstein, second by Doss. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else for clerk?
Nothing.
Zoning, you have a report. Assessing, you have a report. Fire authority,
Are you skipping over zoning without questions?
what?
Are you skipping over, I had a question for John.
Oh, okay, you got a question?
Are you gonna make Ryan Cott sign a paper saying that he's never gonna have any of that kind of construction equipment on his property again, just like you wanted to do with the American Legion and Mr. Fagan?
So, Mr. Cott has done everything that we've asked him to. So if he's violating the ordinance again,
The tractor's still there.
okay.
Well, I
so-
mean, I'm getting at, you need to treat him as fair as you do everybody else. It seems like for some reason you're giving this guy a break. It's been going on for 2 years.
Right, well, so, okay, so here's the challenging thing, is that as a public official, everything I do is open to public inspection. So every action I've taken can be reviewed. So, like, I could provide this board or you with all the actions that I've done, and then you can review them and find if there's some factual basis for your claims.
Well, you're trying to make, the reason that you're not settled with Mr. Fagan is you want him to sign a letter saying he's never gonna use those type of tools at his house ever again that he was using.
That's
Okay,
not
so
true.
that's true,
long
right?
past.
Huh?
That's not true anymore. That his ship sailed, so.
Okay, but you still wanted it. You want the
We did,
American Legion to sign a letter stating that they'll never use that piece of property ever again, not even for selling Christmas trees.
We were looking for
Okay, so I
from
mean,
their
this is
attorney,
something
not a
that you-
written letter or a signed letter.
Okay, is Mr. Cott gonna have to sign the same letter that you wanted Mr. Fagan to sign, wanted the American Legion to sign? Because it seems like he gets cleaned up a little bit and then it just starts over, you know? And I don't see people being treated fairly.
It's called compliance. He's complied to the request of the zoning.
Took 2 years?
Yeah. I don't
he
know how many
got-
times he has said that in a meeting, that as long as people are working with him, he is willing to work with them.
Just seems like you're cutting him a break. What happened to Don with a farm tractor on less than 2 acres?
So we were waiting on a letter from the township planner. We received that, and so the matter's been closed. The planner found that it was
Grandfathered?
essentially, I'm drawing a blank on the term, but yeah, essentially grandfathered in.
He just got the tractor, so I mean, how was it grandfathered in? He hasn't had it for 30 years or since 1983.
He told me he had it before 1983.
No, he didn't.
He told me he's had a tractor before that.
It's a 2006.
He's had a tractor before that.
No, he hasn't. He never has. I've lived there 30 years.
Okay,
I'm just curious what this has to do
really,
with the
it doesn't.
zoning administration report.
yeah.
Because there's nothing on here for ordinance officer, and he's in charge of it.
I don't understand what this has to do with the zoning administration report.
So I think he's questioning the code enforcement list. Mr. Wilson filed a complaint against Ryan Cott, and it got closed out, so he got the closeout letter. And so that's why he's asking about Mr. Cott. We also had an anonymous complaint about Don LeChevalier on Brewer, and we were waiting on a letter from the planner. So
Can you provide me that letter?
Absolutely.
Email it to me. I'd like to see it.
Could I see it as well, please?
Can you what?
Can I see it as well, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
I'm good right now.
All right. You got any questions on assessing?
What's that?
Any questions on assessing?
Nope.
Okay.
He's doing an awesome job.
Fire authority. Had an EMS update on the building in Cahockta. They're still working through that. Engine 21 and 22 are the ones they've been having issues with. We gave him permission, the chief, to start looking at a replacement engine. It would be early, but, and to see if there's a market. There was somebody interested when they sold the aerial truck that was interested in both of those engines. So he was going to reach out back to that supplier and see if they still had interest in buying those. So, unless there's questions of fire authority. MHOG?
So in the month of July, MHOG produced 87.5 million gallons, a 17% increase over last year. We were notified that MHOG has produced its 15 billionth gallon of water. That was a big milestone for the organization, I thought. The transmission main project continues. There is a change order that was submitted to extend into Q1 of next year due to accommodate some easement restrictions, tower maintenance discussion on Marion Tank, as well as a Transwest tower that's in our jurisdiction. And then the UIS phone dialer that I mentioned last month, that went into place, so that reduced the overall monthly bills by about $400. And then we also had a CPA report for the year ending March 31st. There was a surplus. The MHUB board decided to use some of that money to accelerate a loan payoff. And then because we're an authority, Howell Township will get about $8,000 back.
Okay, any questions of MHOG? Planning Commission minutes are in there, but you have anything to add to them?
If anyone has any questions on the minutes, we forwarded a renewable energy ordinance and some updates to the portable storage container. Do those need to go to the county before they come here?
Going to the county, yep.
Okay. Also, we granted extensions to Wrangler Saloon and Soapy Bucket for site plan review for an additional year.
Okay, any questions, Planning Commission? CBA, there was no meeting. Wastewater treatment plant?
It's just informational.
Okay. Howell Parks and Recreation?
Reports in there.
Okay. Property Committee, no meeting. Parks and Recreation, no meeting. And Shiawassee River Committee, no meeting. Move to disbursements.
Move to accept the disbursements as presented and any normal and customary payments for the month.
Support.
Motion by Hohenstein, second by Doss. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make
Motion
the-
to adjourn.
Support.
Motion by Count, second by Doss. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.